Ladies and gentlemen, two of the stars of the show from the USA, live here tonight with beautiful sounds, the Beach Boys. Hey everyone, Nick the Record Lover here. It is December 8th, 2023, and tonight I got for you guys Beach Boys 69, the Beach Boys live in London. This came out in 1970 as just the Beach Boys live in London, and is actually from Capitol Records called this Beach Boys 69, the Beach Boys live in London. And actually, when I read the liner notes to the Rarities album, when they had the live track "All I Want to Do" from the 2020 album, they said that the Beach Boys '69 album was not recorded in 1969, and it was not recorded at the London Palladium, which many people thought it was. It was recorded in London, yes, but it's a December 8th, 1968 show from Finsbury Park, Astoria, London, England. And tonight is the 55th anniversary of the Beach Boys performing there. My memory for this album goes way back to 1986 when a schoolmate made a tape of this album for me. And I just listened to it religiously. I mean, this is probably one of the most fun live albums I've ever heard of the Beach Boys. And they made a few. They made Beach Boys concert in 1964. They made this one in 19. They recorded this in 1968, and was released on Capitol Records in November of 1976. And Live in London one that was on EMI was released in 1970. So this is such a fun live album, and I'll tell you the truth. When I first saw in the liner notes that said it was from a concert in Finsbury Park, Astoria, I thought that Astoria was the New York Astoria, literally, because I know that there is an Astoria theater in the Waldorf Astoria in New York, and I'm wondering, was that where they recorded it? Because there was a Creedence Clearwater Revival album that said recorded the Royal Albert Hall concert, and actually that was recorded in Oakland Coliseum. So I wondered at the time, did they make the same mistake with this? And then I just looked it up, and way before tonight, and it was Finsbury Park, Astoria, London, England. And this is probably one of the most wonderful concerts there is. The Beach Boys at this time in 1968 were not as popular in the United States as much as they were beloved in England at this point. Pet Sounds was a big hit out there. Wild Honey was a big hit. The Friends album was a big hit. So they did a lot of tracks from that album on here. Just a couple of surf tracks, but a lot of tracks that were more uh, current, which is what I like a lot about this album. It's wonderful when you hear a live album like their 1973 concert album, the double album, Beach Boys in Concert, where they did a lot of songs from Pet Sounds. They did a lot of songs from Holland. They did a song from Call 'Em the Passion So Tough. They were doing songs that were up to date, and then threw in a few 60s tracks towards the end. Okay. This one starts off with the Pet Sounds track. I'm sorry, it starts off with the Wild Honey single, Darlin'. And it's explosive on this record. I mean, my dad and I had such a great time listening to this, and all the great songs were on it. And you got "Wouldn't It Be Nice," a shorter version of "Wouldn't It Be Nice." They don't do the entire song, and they did do that a little bit live in '68, '69, where they cut out the middle verse or the ending verse before they go into the chorus. And we have Sloop John B. So there's a lot of Pet Sounds on here. We have California Girls from 1965. And when they were singing it, you could hear them say, "I wish you all could be California Girls," because all the women were going crazy for the Beach Boys here. They were yelling out Carl. They were, yelling out everybody's name. "Do It Again" from the 2020 album, which was big in England. And it was a big single in 1968, "Do It Again." The album 2020 would not be released until early 1969. So "Do It Again" was a single in the summer of 1968. And when we have "Wake the World," which was a single, and it was released as the B-side of the Friends single, beautiful song, "Wake the World." And Mike Love says, "We normally do this in total darkness." And they're all joking like, "Hey, get your hands off me, Will." He's like, "Sorry, you lost my head." He said, Wake the World. And it's great for them to do songs like this live. I mean, I love that. And then you have Aren't You Glad from the Wild Honey album, and the horns that are joining the group on this album. Ed Carter is on guitar. Daryl Dragon is helping out. Had a couple of studio musicians on this album. But Aren't You Glad is a great arrangement live. And it was great to hear it live because that's one of the greatest songs I think the Beach Boys have done. And that's on the Wild Honey album, which is a very underrated Beach Boys record. And I'm glad that they did a lot of up to date stuff on here. Side two opens up with the 1968 single Bluebirds Over the Mountain. It was a song originally done by Ursel Hickey way back, even before 1968. I would say it was in the 50s. And Their Hearts Were Full of Spring, which was their a cappella tune that they did a lot in their earlier concerts. And Brian, unfortunately, is not with them on this tour. He was still back home in California. And they did Their Hearts Were Full of Spring, written by Bobby Troup, who also is famous for writing Route 66. So on the front here, you got pictures of Stonehenge. You got the Beach Boys coming off the plane to England. Here on the back, the same thing. You have up here, you have the nice liner notes. And this is reissued on Capitol Records in 1976. So to continue with the Good Vibrations, if you will, is Good Vibrations after Their Hearts Were Full of Spring, which practically brought the house down. And then you have the MC come on and say, that was the Beach Boys that time. Did you enjoy it? You enjoyed it. Hey, down below, do you want more? Upstairs, do you want more? You want more then? One more time from America, the Beach Boys. And they come out with God Only Knows, one of Carl's greatest vocals. This track is from the Pet Sounds album, and the place was just crazy. And then they finish up with what Mike Love calls the audience perspiration number or participation number, and it's Barbara Ann, their big hit from 1965. So this is such a wonderful concert. I can't get enough of it. It's one of their best shows. It's a fun show. It just would have been a fun show to be at in 1968 in London, England, and to hear the love that England gave to the Beach Boys, who are California grown. And in 1968, "Do It Again" was a big hit because it got back. It talked about surfing and cars and girls again. I mean, "Darling" was a hit too, but they weren't making like the groundbreaking hits at that point here in America. They went like top 20, top 30, but in England, I mean, they were just like the show. They were everything in England. So this is the original Capitol LP that came out in 1976 on ST 11584. Here's the original orange label that it was on, and it also has the front row ticket stub right there, which is really cool because you really do get a front row seat for this concert. It's so much fun, and just to say, it was. Mike Love says before they do it again, he says it's nice to be back in London. And many people thought it was the London Palladium. I thought it was at the London Palladium, but like reading the Beach Boys rarities liner notes, it said it's actually from a December 8th, 1968, Finsbury Park, Astoria concert in London, England. So Beach Boys 69, the Beach Boys live in London. Definitely give this a listen. I believe it's still available on CD on the internet. And you could get a good price for this on LP. You could get the live in London one, which is the same concert. It's just a different picture. It shows them in 1970 with the beards. Mike Love's got a beard down practically to his chest, and then you have on the side you have the Pet Sounds cover. So Beach Boys 69, the Beach Boys live in London, or the UK version live in London. It's the same show. If you're a Beach Boys fan, if you're a live audience, if you're a live album concert fan, you'll definitely love this record. So peace, guys. Enjoy the music. If music be the food of love, play on. Give me excess of it. Good night.